Welcome to 2 on the 10.
Oh, we back 2 on the 10, baby.
Yes, sir.
I'm Paul.
I'm Mitch.
Greedy.
Woo! Another day in the box. Another week in the box, I should say.
Isn't me, or is time just getting faster?
I think you're just getting older.
Okay. Well,
You-
time's
you know,
getting faster.
We call we called it Father Time.
I blame it on CERN.
That's what Rip Van Winkle. This motherfucker go to sleep. He come back. He aged about 10 years. That's
All I gotta say is, y'all listeners at home, you tell me if it doesn't matter, good, bad, or indifferent, if your week's speeding up.
fuck yeah, man. Hey, we were talking about a little bit. Dreaming like a motherfucker, huh?
Yeah, no, seriously. I had to put a post out because, both me and my girl, waking up with vivid ass dreams that you can kind of remember.
Yes,
and
yes.
that's normally the difference is, you might have all your dreams or whatever, but you don't always remember them.
Yeah.
And so it started last week. I put a post up on Facebook, and the last time I did this post was during COVID when everybody's locked in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how many people resonate with you because all of a sudden, yeah, me too. And then people you never expect, and they're agreeing their dreams they don't normally dream like that, and all of a sudden, coincidence or what? And I'm not even trying to be funny when I say that, coincidence, or what is it with the last couple of weeks or last week that's
No, I ain't gonna lie. It's I ain't gonna lie. I would have to say last 2 weeks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I've been dreaming every night, and some of them I remember, some I don't remember. I got to do what my girl tells me. I got to start writing them down soon as I wake up. Because if I move around stuff like that, and I go back and try to tell them I had this craziest thing. What was it about? Oh shit, I forgot. But I normally will remember bits and pieces right after I get out of it. But yes, I've been dreaming like crazy. I mean, some, like you said, some real vivid dreams that you can taste, touch, all types of shit.
no, and again,
And I don't normally do that. I normally is black. Just, I go to sleep and wake up when the alarm goes off. That's about it. But
it makes you almost wonder, is there another, parallel existence? Is a different dimension? I mean, I'm just saying, for a quick second, some of these dreams are so real, and they always seem to have, even though they don't make sense, there's messages that you're trying to decipher, there's faces that you recognize but you don't know from where. Different things like that, situations.
yeah, I think sometimes I think it's you're self-conscious. You know what I'm saying? Something in the back of your self-conscious might be bugging you or thinking about it, and it's manifesting somehow in a dream state that maybe you worried about something and it transpired or some shit you might have seen on TV and put it together. But then on another thing is when you have deja vu sometimes.
Yeah.
I swear, when I have deja, I was like, "Fuck, I've seen this before." I've dreamed about this shit, this moment, stuff like that. People always say, "I've always dreamed about this moment," but now, real talk, been out in the world and actually fucking woke up thinking about this shit. So,
What about, have you ever had a dream so real that you knew you were in a dream while you were in it?
nah, man, I ain't never had.
I've had a few.
I've had that.
Here's the thing is, I've had a realistic dream where I'm about to die or something, or somebody's chasing me, or I'm sure something crazy about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if this is what you mean when you realize, hey, this shit ain't real. Wake myself up. You know what I'm saying? I've done that before where I've woken myself out of a dream I need to fit this, stop and wait.
When I was young, I used to have dreams I hit
the
the
Matrix.
I hit the lottery, and I had all this money. I'm like, I got all this money, and then I was like, I'm gonna hide it under my dresser and go to sleep. And then in my dream, I would hide it and then go to sleep. And then I wake up for real, oh shit, is there really money under my dresser?
I'll top that one. I used to have dreams, and it must have been nights, those drunk nights out or whatever. I remember this. I'm not sure one of them. I remember dreaming, and it's more than a few times, so it's been a similar dream, that I jumped off the Carquinez Bridge, right?
Really?
And first off, I don't like water. What I'm not going to I don't like water. And I jumped off the Carquinez Bridge, which is the bridge by Vallejo, connects Vallejo to one part of the Bay Area. And I swear for a while in my regular life, I used it as a point of reference, thinking I actually did it.
Huh.
I'm not even kidding. I'm kind of going, well, I jumped off the bridge before. And I'm like, what? I jumped off the bridge. And I'm catching myself. Did I? I don't think I did. No, there's no way I could have done it. I've actually had that conversation in my head before.
Wow.
You were like, oh, this motherfucker's crazy. But no, just being 1,000 with you. It's crazy sometimes, the realities of these. And or you've referenced the dream you had 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And for all we know, the dream could have been 10 minutes ago, but you thought it was 10 years ago.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Dreams are so much more to them. Anyway, we just wanted to touch
I've also
base
had the same dream like 3-4 nights in a row where
Yeah.
it continues.
Yep. Agreed.
It's like,
What
I
about
want to go back to the dream and see what happens next.
Yeah.
I told you, waking yourself out of a dream and then go right back into that same
Or
dream?
how about this one?
Oh,
And then
that's-
again, I know my girl, her mom always called them anxiety dreams or whatever.
Right.
But like, and two more things I want to touch on real quick. Okay, you're in the dream. You're worried about something. I know back in the day when I owned the baseball card stores, I got this product and I got to sell all of it, and I got too much of it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, oh shit. Or even the back when I didn't study for the test in high school, and they're taking the test, and it's gonna be my whole grade, and I've gone back to those, and somehow you get out of the dream, you got to get up, take a piss, whatever. You go back and you're, damn, okay, that was just a dream, cool. You go back to the dream and it starts over again, and it starts over like with that same anxiety. I've had that happen like even in the last year a couple of times I can't even tell you what, where I go back into the same anxiety and the same stuff over and over and over. Like it's like 3 or 4 times.
A lot of my dreams, there's always someone like chasing me, trying to kill me, or like someone's out, like the shooters or shit.
Yeah, it's your bookie.
Yeah, probably.
But hey, real quick, one last thing,
Things.
because I mean, again, I'm gonna bring it up. Could there be like whether we're talking about the moon or no moon? Like I know some people say there's been no moon lately or whatever. We did just go out and check it. There's a quarter of a moon. I had to do that because the other day I did check and I didn't see a moon. But whether the moon's pull or or whatever, or maybe the towers, the EMFs and different things like that. They can be like cooking us at night.
Well, supposedly right now we have 2 moons.
Yeah, supposedly.
Maybe.
Yeah, we have 2 moons. One was the asteroid that is now in the same orbit as.
I haven't seen it.
No, you can't. You can only see it with like high powered telescope. So, no, and then you can see with the naked with the naked eye, but like a high powered telescope, you're supposed to be able to see the second moon. So right now we're supposed to have a second moon.
So maybe there's something with the different, poles or something like that. But okay, and this leads to my second thing. Hey, Nick, has your cat been acting different?
He's been crazy lately, like
Wow,
last week.
your cat's been acting hell.
The last few days, Molly and Ollie, the 7 months old now. I think actually today, 7-month-old Bengal cats. They're acting insane, and it's funny because Ollie was always the one that's kind of a little more like gets into stuff, or like is the one that's more worried about food. Molly's like a little skinnier or whatever, and they both are just always on the counter. They're not supposed to be on the counter. They're on the counter all the freaking time. Like you turn your head, they're into everything. And I know I know people go, oh, that's just Bengal cats. No, to the point where like I'm eating like Frosted Flakes or whatever, cornflakes or whatever, right? I put the bag down to the side. My cat is sitting there and he's already bit through the bag to get to the Frosted Flakes.
Wow.
Their behavior, it's just different because they weren't like that just like a week ago, a few days ago. And it doesn't matter that we just fed them. Like before, when we fed them, they'd leave some food in and then they'd go walk off and do other stuff. Now they're just like, whatever you do, they drop what they're doing in every single thing they're into, and they're just going crazy.
I came home, it was either yesterday or the day before, and there was water all over the kitchen. And I had like this bowl down for the water for the dog and the cat. And the big dog and the cat were like chasing each other through the house. It was like I walked into like a madhouse.
Hey, real quick, I don't want
and
to
there was water everywhere.
If there's water everywhere, could there have been a mermaid walking by?
No more mermaids at the house. There was water everywhere. The dog was chasing the cat. The cat was like pawing at the dog. They were running all over, inside, outside the house. It was like 2 dogs chasing each other, but it was the dog and the cat.
So it was raining dogs and cats.
Yeah, it was raining cats and dogs inside my house, but it was nuts. They were going buck wild.
All right. Well, hey, some strange shit's going on right now.
Yeah.
We got a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world.
Exactly.
It's kind of wild right now. But anyway, before we get into the world, let's talk about our weekend. Greedy,
Yeah.
how was yours?
It was nice. It was a weekend full of sports and gambling and fun and drinking and food. Met Mitch up for lunch on Saturday. Went to Rito's Tacos.
Shout out Ritos.
Still the best, some of the best beef tacos, and they actually have an amazing chicken taco.
Oh, man.
I know Mitch is going to tell you that.
Yeah.
Their chicken taco is amazing. And then their enchiladas are bar none the best enchiladas I've had anywhere.
Agreed.
And we mashed that, and then ended up going to Puro for watch a little football there, have a drink or two, and then I ended up going home, changing real quick, and then heading out to the Moose. and closed down the Moose Saturday night. And Sunday just watched some NFL.
You close out on Moose too?
Yeah. Actually, I did.
Oh yeah.
We closed it down.
Actually, I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yep.
Won some money gambling, so it was a good weekend.
There you
Hit a couple big bets. Paul got me hooked on this thing now. They have all these bets. You can bet first quarter yards, and it's like five. You could bet like 5 guys to have 5 yards in the first quarter, and you can parlay it over like 5 games. And I bet $25 and won 400 just for 5 guys to have 5 yards in the first quarter, 5-yard catch.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So, and it was crazy because I had everything except for Marvin Harrison Jr. And there was like 30 seconds left. The clock's ticking down. They could have let the clock run out. They hiked one more play and they threw a 20-yard out to him and he caught it. That was the only catch he had in the first half was the 20-yard, literally with no time left on the clock in the first quarter.
Well, hey, this site's new, right?
No, it's
No,
on
it's on FanDuel.
Oh, FanDuel. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we'll point it out later, but the offensive coordinators are going to know about it.
Yeah, they're going to be like, but it's like, like there's some teams you look at that they throw to the same guy like 14 times a game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to have a 5-yard catch in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't have to, he could have 2 catches for 5 yards.
It's harder to do it in a one game.
Yeah.
But
But if you can do it over 4 or 5 games, you just pick like the main guy for that team. Like the team that has that one receiver that just like DJ Moore. They throw to him every other play,
Right.
And you just pick him and make some money. So it was nice. Thanks, Bill.
You
Hooked it up.
You walk, a little inside, from one degenerate to another.
There you go. There you go. So,
Titano.
like Nick said, the weekend was cool. Met up with Nick on, did Ritos. I'm just going to expand because, Ritos and Mesa, this is probably third, fourth time I went over there, but it's really solid. It's right there because a lot of people, the OG Ritos, the one that the grandma, started or whatever, her reputation in the valley when I first even got here, was.
Now is this the Doritos where you got me the carne asada burritos?
No, that's a Redo's.
Redo's.
Different place.
This
This is a taco shop that originated, I think, 14th Street in Roosevelt.
Yeah, Roosevelt.
And it's like in a house.
Damn.
And it's like they built it out of a house. It's right next to a school in a neighborhood. You would never know that there was a restaurant inside that neighborhood unless you drove past.
Even when I first got here, I heard about it from a few different people. It was one of the spots, that you heard. You heard 3 different spots out here, 4 different spots. And I remember the grandma made the tacos, and then she just got a beef with her family, wouldn't do the recipe, stopped making tacos. And so, and then all of a sudden she just popped in when she felt like it did tacos, and now like they'd sell out lines around the building. And then she gave the recipe to her sons before she passed, and then they opened spots. I know, the next one of the spots was Surprise, which I used to go to when I was out on the Arrowhead side. And then they recently, within the last year and a half, opened Mesa Riverview, which sounds, when you first hear it, kind of gimmicky, but I think me and Nick can vouch they hold it down. They hold it down.
Okay.
That's actually a nice restaurant, too.
really.
It's a sit down, yeah.
Yeah, more than
it's
take your
good.
stuff and leave or sit by the park with the flies.
Yeah.
At the downtown location. But one thing I will say is the bartender, I always ask them, what do you guys eat? Because they eat there every freaking day.
Yeah.
I eat the chicken tacos. I'm like, what? Hold on a second. They got chicken tacos? I don't even remember or whatever. And this may sound sacrilegious, but I think they might be better than the beef tacos.
Oh shit.
I mean, they are solid. They're definitely probably my favorite chicken taco in the valley. Rita's already has my favorite hard shell beef taco in the valley, and like Nick had said, the cheese enchilada is the best cheese enchilada I've ever had anywhere.
Yeah.
So definitely shout out to Ritos. Definitely check it out. Like Moose Lodge. Oh, we did Puro. Smoked a stick. Just able to relax. That was pretty cool. And just vibing, watching college football, catching up with stuff. And then Moose Lodge Saturday night. Sunday for me was just a stay-in day. Ordered some pizza. I actually checked a new spot out called Twisted Pies. And actually it was really good. It was really good. The only drawback I would say was that we got first of all, I got a extra cheese and pepperoni, and they use like the big pepperonis. So that was kind of cool. It's a little different than, I just love when pizzas are different than you expect. And they bring something to the table, especially something a little different. And then the other pie was the pizza of the month, jalapeno popper. And that was more Christmas style, but it was good. It was good. And I'll say this, great flavors, good quality cheese. The only drawback, crust, even though the crust tasted good, had good flavor, it was soggy. So I will give it another shot at Twisted Pies. And this time I will just say, can we get the crust? Well done. But we're definitely worth checking out. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, I'll keep it short. That was basically the weekend. And yeah, what about you?
Man, so finally, got to see my daughter in LA for her. It was kind of her birthday. Her birthday's actually tomorrow, but went out to LA to see her, because I'm going to be gone again. So went out to LA, and LA, I got to say, was a lot different, a lot cleaner than
the Bay Area.
San Fran. Yeah,
Well, you didn't go to downtown LA though.
no, I didn't.
Go by Skid Row.
Yeah, no, I stayed over in Beverly Hills this time, so
Okay, with Eddie Murphy.
I wanted to let my girl see Rodeo Drive. We went to the Santa Monica Pier, stuff like that. But man, we had some food spots, bro. We had this sushi joint. I forget the name, but I'll get it for you. But I might got a top 5 fucking Alex steakhouse. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay.
It's called Meat on the Ocean.
Okay.
And when I tell you, I got the fillet, and they got their surf and turf with the fillet, and our lobster tail. Their lobster tail was huge. Fillet was cooked to perfection.
Okay.
Ordered medium, and it came out perfect. I mean, they cooked it excellent. They had some great cocktails too, but that meal was really. I don't know if I just had to have a really good steak in a long time, but that was one of the best steaks I've eaten.
What was it called again?
It's called Meat on the Ocean.
Okay, because my favorite steakhouse was Meat at the Strip Mall. I'm just playing, but
Stupid. He was stupid. But no, that's down in Santa Monica, and the shit was fire. It was so good, man. We did that, and then my daughter, she's plugged in, man. I got to take my hat off to her. She's kind of like her father. When you go out, you just greet. You just use your personality. You treat people how you want to be treated, and.
I thought it was, hey, Mitch, where's your plug at?
And yeah, shit. Because you used to have the plug around that motherfucker, but it was dope, man. We walked in, everybody knew her. Everybody from the promoter to the security guard.
Where'd you go?
We went to this place called Poppy's.
Chili's. No, I'm just joking.
The only place you find hot, horny women, Applebee's.
Now we went to this place called Poppy's, and then the other place. Oh man, I can't remember what the other place was. But it was a fucking long night because on Friday we started drinking at like 5 or 6. We were drinking sake bombs earlier, and then fucking kept going. Oh man! Then we went to the hookah spot late at night. They were showing me love there. Fuck, I can get home at 4 o'clock in the morning and fucking.
Let me ask you, okay, what do you think of? And we've had our experiences, with LA nightlife. I've experienced it in the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s, even 2020s. But like, what do you think of it right now?
It's definitely changed. I mean, it's definitely changed. I mean, I love when we went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was the glitz, the glamour. Now it's, oh man. I mean, here's the thing: the food spots, were really good. LA knows how to do like chill spots, like good food, chill, just go back and kick, just kick it.
Lounge, kick back.
Yeah. But when we were there, it was all that plus chicken, I think because it was new, it was hip, everything's like already done already. So it's not the same anymore. Even the clubs. The fucking club that we went to, it was a cool ass club and everybody knew, but it reminded me of what's it called? What's a Dirty Pretty or was it Pretty Please that they got down in there, but a little bit bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's the same as any Scottsdale club that was down there, and that's not how LA clubs used to be. No. Like when we went into that room that we saw Dirk Nasty that was fucking performing and shit like that, and they were fucking swinging from. It was like how Vegas does, but in LA, it was an experience that you went to. You know what I'm saying? Fuck. And like when we were doing bottle service back there, you did. I don't know if it was like the beginning of bottle service or what it was, but I just felt like it was appreciated. Like I don't know if you remember, like we did like. When we went there, we're in the back, right? We told the girl, we're going to bottle, but
with the wobbly table.
Yeah, but the wobbly table. But we were like, man, we really want to try this Cristal. She was like, well, if you buy the Cristal, I'm gonna put you right on the dance floor.
Right next to the porn star party.
Yeah, and sure enough, fucking they moved us. Yeah. But they wouldn't, fuck, you bought a bottle because they're like, oh, whatever, go over in a corner somewhere. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
They're sitting there pushing bottle wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to get two people to get drunk out of their
Man,
minds and show off
exactly. You know, so it was
before they go broke next year.
Exactly, but it was, you know, like I said, it was. It's just a different experience, man. Like I said, I kind of feel for you know this generation because I don't know, they get shit so quick, so fast, and it's not appreciated. Where like when we were growing up, it was a lot. I don't know. It was cool. It was appreciated. I think it was more of a vibe. You know what I'm saying? It was like the thing to do. And you know, I might be sounding like an old head on here, but what I'm saying is, it was just. I just think you can't compare the times.
No,
at all. You know what I'm saying?
It's different. I mean, and this is, you know, again, we can only speak from, you know, being in your prime in your generation. I mean, you know,
But I think they've dumbed it down, though, Mitch.
I mean, well, there's just so much technology. Here's the thing: people are different, and this is not a knock on the people that are out there now. They got to work with what they have. There's a lot of advancements, and there's also a lot of setbacks, in my opinion. I think that knowing where the spot was without having a map to it it counts for something.
Yep.
Knowing what you know, showing up at a party, knowing how to, you know, dress without having a, you know, a playbook.
Yep.
You know, or having everybody chase for the same things. Knowing the dances, you know, when there weren't instruction videos on TikTok or whatever else. I think that counted for something and set you apart from thousands of others when you walked in a room.
Shit, you
compared
remember,
to,
you remember when you discovered the door?
Oh yeah.
Bro, it used to be. I mean, fucking tell people about the door. I mean, I can, but you
Yeah.
fucking, you're
So
doing justice.
you know, so again, the door is kind of a. I mean, the people that really know the door. 'Cause some people, oh yeah, I remember I've been there, especially when they were falling off and they did Groove Candy a lot or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just remember I was on the scene a lot. I'm at a club in Scottsdale, and the bartender goes, "Hey, Mitch, hey, you need one of these. I see you everywhere. Here you go." And gives me a key. And what the hell is this? She goes, "Oh, you haven't heard? It's a new bar, but you have to have a key to get in. There's no signs, nothing, whatever." I go, "Where's it at?" "It's over by," I remember she's like, "Scottsdale Road and Curry." I go, "Ain't that by like the strip clubs or whatever?" She goes, "Yeah, but across the street, just, you know, put your key in the door, walk in. It's a pretty nice lounge. You have to have a key to get in. It's invite only." And then I remember the first time I went there, put the key in the door. I thought it was the front of the building, couldn't get in. I'm like, "Oh, this shit don't work. Let's go to another club." Then I keep hearing people going there. And I think I ran back into that girl again. And she goes, "Hey, you haven't gone there yet." I'm surprised. I go, "I'm going to check it out." And then finally figured out what it was. And I'm like, "Oh shit, it looked like a Vegas lounge," or like it looked like a secret, you know, like it seriously was like
You had to go through the hallway.
it was like a Batman club.
Yeah. I had to go through a hallway, which looked like, you know, if you ever got a like an indoor, what do you call it, like a U-Haul spot where it's like industrial.
Yeah.
Then you turn, then you had to put the key against the door, and then all of a sudden it opened up to a fucking nightclub.
Yeah, but there's a bouncer checking an ID as soon as you walk in, and then there's like, it's a nightclub, but it was loungy. It was like real high class. They had the bar right when you walked into the right.
Yeah.
They had like seats, and then they had a dance floor. They even had like a piano, even though it was a DJ. There's a piano there. It was pretty sick. And then a bunch of pimped out couches.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a definitely good time. And again, the first like probably year and a half of that place was definitely, and it was always, I remember like we'd always be like, you know, "All right, let's meet up over there." No matter where everybody was at, if they were out, "Hey, what's up? Let's meet at the door. Meet at the door." "Okay, cool, perfect." And I could be in Phoenix, I could be whatever. So then by 12:30, I'm at the door. You know, and it'd be like probably 11:30, 12:30, 1, and we were closing the door down, and then probably going to Greasy Tony's for pizza afterwards or something. You know, like that was a good time.
Or Fantasy Island.
You know, you know what the door is now? It's an apartment complex.
Yeah, the towards.
Oh, of course. Well, that's just
Throw
like,
that shit down like a build apartment complex.
I mean, that's what, I mean, you know, it seems like any of that land, I mean, look at what the value is, you know, it's crazy. Apartment complexes, and it's not like they're going to have zoning issues, you know, not in Tempe, not with, you know, so yeah, so RIP the door. And again, always had to bring up the club experiences.
Shit, the door, Rio, all that shit was all down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I mean,
And that's all now. That's fucking high rises, apartment complexes, and all
I remember
that.
Pompeii,
Yeah.
just Senior Frogs, then turn to Pompeii, and you walk upstairs and it's like a circle, and then you go downstairs to the dance floor, and down there, and it was packed, and everybody like,
Well, they had clubs everywhere. What about the one that was on 21st Street and Camelback?
oh no, the Empire.
Empire. That's what
That was my shit. Yeah, 23rd. I think
Yeah,
23rd.
yeah.
That was and they had a sushi bar in the back.
Yep. And now, shit, that's tore down.
Yep. In
Apartment
fact,
complex.
it's funny. I remember when I first got here, people told me about Empire. I used to go there by myself, And I remember
I
after
used to have lines
Yeah.
around the building.
I used to be able to get in, you know, you go to this club by yourself because I didn't know there were too many people and not everybody could go out, you know, when I went. So I go out there, be able to get in because it's just me. Then I get to the bar, then, hey, Mitch, got my 2 Heinekens ready. I always, for some reason, I always was able to get in at the bar.
Right.
And that's a lifesaver because, again, people don't realize that back in the day, you waited about a half hour to get your drink sometimes in a line. You waited at the top bars.
Because everything was done by hand. Man.
Yep, exactly.
Bringing that bitch in. So,
But yeah, no, good times. And so, man, that's cool. LA, you know, LA, Beverly Hills treated you well.
Yep.
Club scene a little different than it was.
yeah, a little hectic, you know what I'm saying? Same thing, you know, kind of chaotic, you know.
Can I just say, it seems like it'd be a lot. No, wrong. I guess if I have to speak from experience being in the scene out here. It was a little bit of work. You got to be on top of your game to know where all the spots were and the after parties and what's popping. But to me, if you're in LA, it seems like that's a job in itself to figure out everything going on.
Well, you know what's crazy is like the security.
Yeah.
We went to one club, and then the security was at the next club 2 days later.
Okay, yeah. So
Or
they
a day later.
They hired by teams. Huh?
Yeah. So they went from one club, and then they went to another club, but it was the same security.
Okay, so yeah, usually, you know, that's a good way to hire units, so you don't have to, you know, you hire the whole team. Someone's in charge. You bring the team for security. You bring the DJs, the promoters. You know, what I mean.
But then the crazy thing is, does the other club shut down? Fucking
Well, I'm sure that's the other thing with LA or the hot spots is, this club goes on first Tuesdays of every month. You know what I mean? And it's kind of almost in the know to know it, you know, to know it.
yeah, because my daughter was like, "You got to come back out." I guess they got this like open air club. It's called Playgirl. And she's telling me next summer that's when we got to come. We'll see.
So I remember some of the hottest clubs in the clothing game. My brands that I used to support, Popular Demand, they used to run shit in LA, and they used to invite us out to Playhouse and Supper Club.
Okay, so
and those two were
gotcha.
popping. It had to be circa 2012, 13, 14. Like I said, I've been to a party at Supper Club, red carpeted. Was it Playhouse? I can't remember. I think it was Playhouse, and they wouldn't let Drake in. I can say I've been to a party where I walked in and they wouldn't let Drake in. Yes,
Okay, shit.
but
They didn't know about the time.
no, they knew him. It was Rihanna was in there and Chris Brown was there, and they didn't want Drake in there because right after the beef.
Got you.
I was there that night.
That's another thing. My daughter, she kicks it with Chris around all the time.
For real?
She's been to his house. Yeah, she got him on. She got his, you know, his address on her phone and stuff like that. And it's not like a part. So that's the thing. She was telling me Chris Brown don't have like big parties.
No,
He has like a party of like maybe 7 to 10 people max
Gotcha.
at his crib, and they sit around and play Jenga and shit like that. Bro, she's plugged in. I'm proud of her. So definitely. But man, something that I'm not proud of or you know worried about is this hurricane that's coming through right now. Yeah. So Hurricane Milton is about to hit Florida.
Hey, can we let
As
you know?
we speak.
Hey, we do a lot of stuff. I mean, we talk. We give our opinions, of course. Sometimes we're loud about it, brass. But can we at least say, obviously our thoughts and prayers sincerely to everybody, not only in the Georgia area, North Carolina, all the areas affected, and then obviously Florida. Man, our prayers are out for you. We're pulling for you, man. Stay safe, and positive vibes being said.
Definitely, because it's about to get hit again, and they're not even recovered from this last one, Alina, and they had debris still all over the place. And I mean, this was within a week that this hurricane's hitting again, and it's going to strike in a Category 5 right now. This shit's what were you telling me earlier?
They were saying that this is the second strongest hurricane by pressure in the northern hemisphere ever recorded, and they said that it's reaching the limits of what the atmosphere will allow for storm size.
That's crazy.
That there is a limit. You can only have a storm so big because of the atmosphere. That they're reaching that limit with this storm.
That shit is crazy.
So there's gonna be mass flooding. Obviously,
I mean, yeah,
they're already having tornadoes on Florida because of the storm.
Yeah, but just thinking about the winds. 200 mile per hour winds, but also you got the storm surge. You know what I'm saying? Because they're already below sea level, and so they're just going to get hit massively.
What about this too? Sorry to interrupt, but I think it's a subject, and I think we learned about it from Katrina. What about the people in the prisons? I mean, no wrong. Obviously the regular people that are in the society, and everything else. But just for a quick second, because I don't think people talk enough about it. What about the people incarcerated?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mitch. I don't know. I don't know if they have
the hospitals there's a hospital like right
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if they
can't
have.
take all those people out.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a
Yeah.
contingency plan or if they just got to bunker down and just weather through it. I mean,
remember-
you see people boarding up their houses and stuff like that. So
I just remember, Katrina's numbers, and again, a lot of it's hearsay, but I remember hearing over 500 people died in the prisons alone.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
I mean, you have no place to go, and then now you're talking. We're talking 15 feet of water is what I'm hearing.
Right.
15 feet of water. People, with these prisons, like you said, below sea level,
Yeah.
or where the land's at. There's a few different prisons, and they're not even talking of any kind of again, I don't have the right answers. I'm not going to sit here and say I have the right answers, and I'm not here to put anybody, over somebody else. All I'm saying is I just want to bring up a subject that I don't think a lot of people think about. Mm-hmm. And then maybe even think negatively, well, they deserve this or whatever. But the sentence that they have wasn't to drown, and stuff. So, and again, I always believe there's probably some innocent people in jail, and there's probably people in jail for smoking weed and probably for selling marijuana.
Yeah.
Well, the other big thing I saw, there's a bunch of like news coverage. There's some guy, I think they're calling him Lieutenant Dan. He's riding out the storm on like a small boat. And the police showed up and news reporters, they try to talk him out of like, no, come get shelter, evacuate. And he's like, no. He's like, God told me to ride out the storm on the boat. He's like, the boat's the safest place when there's a flood. He's like, I'm staying on the boat.
Well, you know what's crazy? So my mom's out at sea right now. She was supposed to, she's been on a cruise. And so she was supposed to dock tomorrow. Well, I mean, she's sitting right now off the coast of Cuba, just in the middle of the water.
Oh, shit.
Because they can't bring the boat in right now. So I'm in contact with her every day, make sure she's doing all right. And she's, right now they're fine. But they can't stay out there too long because I guess it was a brand new ship. They only brought so much food because they weren't anticipating, being out there that long.
So how many days over is she going to be?
So far, she's only going to be 1 day over.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's, they were supposed to be heading back. So, oh, no, I tell you what, no. She was supposed to be home today. I take it back. She's over. She was supposed to be home today. She was supposed to come in the port yesterday. That's what it was, and be home today, could fly home. So it's 2 days over now. But she was supposed to be in port on the 8th. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it was today, 9th, yeah, 8th, yep. And so she's going to be 2 days over. She's going to be 2 days over tomorrow. Going to be 3 days over come Friday. That's when they're supposed to. Hopefully, they're saying that's when the storm should pass over and they're able to dock. They're not even fucking going to be sure what that's going to look like, what's going to transportation, what flight's going to look like, stuff like that. So my mom might not be home until I get back. But I just told her, make sure, we text, we call, because even when she was on the boats, it was kind of breaking up and shit like that. So, but it's a big ass boat. It's not going to capsize or nothing.
They're probably far enough away too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the other thing when the storms hit, the seas get super choppy.
Yep.
You don't want to be anywhere close to it because, especially if you have motion sickness, you'd be seasick as a motherfucker out there.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be at the edge of, still in international waters, but closer to Cuba right now.
Oh, gotcha.
And then just hunker down out there until the storm passes. So, but like I said, the worst is supposed to hit tonight. That's what all the news stations and stuff like that are saying. So, I know you hear it all the time, but definitely our thoughts and prayers go out to the people down in
definitely.
South Florida, all of Florida right now. Like you said, Georgia too. You just never know which way that storm is going to turn. Right now, it is tearing up Florida right now.
Well, supposedly you don't know where the storm's going, unless you believe some of the conspiracies and the storms are being manipulated by a certain group. Then maybe they can steer the storm where they want it.
Right.
And it seems like those. Here's the thing, man. I always say read the comments and in all these social media. Even just for entertainment purposes. But it's interesting how many more people are speaking up or have the opinion of things other than the weather.
Well, it's crazy. I saw a couple things. They said the last hurricane and this one, there was like some flights that basically of some governmental planes or one of these weather planes that basically took the same path of the hurricane for the original one that hit like the Carolinas, and then the same with this one. how it formed and then circled and how it's headed into Florida. Basically the same path of the plane that this plane took, this weather recording plane or whatever, allegedly. So, yeah, there's people speculate on, what technology do we have? Can we alter weather? I mean, if I don't know if you guys saw the new Twister movie, that was like the main premise was she was trying to figure out a way to like take down a tornado.
Right.
So you don't think if people are trying to do that, are they also trying to figure out how they can intensify a storm, use it as a weapon? I mean,
Well, I mean,
if you wanted to attack somebody and not really know that they're being attacked,
Right.
you just create a big tsunami and just have it blast into some place. And
Right.
like you mean like
Well, now-
Katrina or Japan or
Yeah.
Right. Now we are. I mean, like you said, we are in hurricane season. It starts in November, goes all the way until I'm gonna say March or April down there. So
to see the biggest hurricane ever in Tampa history, probably pre-hurricanes or just right or before the start, the
Right.
kickoff, is kind of crazy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, insane.
But then the other thing, so that hurricane's going to cross over Florida and then head out. It's going to connect with another hurricane that's already formed out there. And then there's a third hurricane. They're saying they might all collide and head out towards, like, I guess, I don't know, Europe or across the Atlantic.
damn. So I thought.
I
Here's my
forgot they
thing.
had some term for it. We're like,
Yeah, but I thought my
called HARP.
I thought hurricanes could only survive into warm water. That's why, like the Gulf of Mexico.
yeah, but there's already
and
two
the
in the Atlantic
and
now
the
that are
forms-
formed.
Yeah, but I'm saying the Atlantic waters, like when you go towards like the UK and stuff,
Yeah.
the waters are colder than they are down there.
Maybe it'll die out. But if 3 storms hit, and they form like some superstorm or something, I don't know. Who knows? I'm just saying that's the
What's that movie with? I forget what his name is, but oh fuck, what is it? What's the dude's name that what movies he's in? Oh,
Porkies?
no. What's the movie?
Debbie Does Dallas.
No, he goes and save the president.
Annie.
He goes and save the president and shit like that.
Oh, you're talking about London Has Fallen or the other one?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the Gerald Butler one?
Yeah,
or the
Gerald
Channing-
Butler.
Or the Channing Tatum one?
No, Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah. Remember he was in that fucking weather movie?
I call him Gerald.
Weather movie.
Oh, yeah. I kind of do remember that one, yeah.
Yeah, and in that movie, they prepared you for like superstorms and shit like that. But it was kind of funny that you guys bringing up controlling because in that movie, they had things that basically help. They really control the storms. They were supposed to destroy the storms, and something went haywire when they went in reverse and then started fucking up the world. So
Predictive programming?
I mean, I definitely believe that they can control the weather because I mean, places have admitted to like cloud seeding now and causing rain and other things.
Well, remember when cloud seeding was a conspiracy?
Oh, yeah.
And then now it's admitted.
Admitted.
It's admitted for sure. And I mean,
But half the
CIA
population
files.
still thinks it's
Yeah,
a conspiracy because they don't actually watch the news or read it.
Well, actually, they watch the news,
Yeah.
and that's why they think it's a conspiracy until the news tells them otherwise.
Yeah.
well, I
Like
knew.
Simon Says.
Well, I knew over in like some of the Arab cities and stuff like that, they didn't get a lot of rain, so they figured out how to manipulate the weather to create rain and stuff like that. I mean, that's.
But I mean,
Essentially, that's what you're calling it.
let's look at it this way though too. All you have to do is look at how many patents, and there's some TikToks, and I know you have to check your sources or whatever, of course. But TikToks and IG videos of over 120 patents filed on weather manipulation. And one other thing I'm going to share. I know you guys have mentioned that one of the politicians had mentioned weather modification or whatever, and Biden flipped out on her or something.
Yeah, green. Whatever her name is, something green. But go ahead.
Okay, so
But to reference this, even her own party has kind of told her, not on this case, but other things, pipe down because she's a big conspiracy theory or just make up shit. But go ahead.
and what's it called? So anyway, I know this much. I've been reading since the 2000s, mid 2000s, of weather altering machines. HARP being one of them. I firmly believe HARP had something to do with Katrina. I think Haiti, the earthquake in Haiti, and the tsunamis in Japan. And that's just my opinion. I reserve the right to change it based on any kind of information that that's been presented. But again, and the funny part is, even if you looked up hard on the information that's allowed, you'll see the program in Alaska and different things like that. It's not like it's, out of nowhere. It's like we were talking earlier in the green room. 15 years ago, you watch a Jason Bourne film and it's like, oh, yeah, Monarch Butterfly or MK Ultra, that's not real. It's just in the movies or whatever. And they call it something else, Brimbrow or Black, Black Tread, whatever.
Treadstone
Treadstone or whatever, and stuff like that. Where's the chems? Stuff like that. And now all of a sudden we realize that CIA declassifies 20 years later. Oh yeah, they had these programs, So again, man, all I'm saying is, and by that point, nobody cares. It's like the people that's for saying it existed, they don't get validated over it. And the people that said there's no way in hell, they're not going to sit there and give you an apology. You know what I mean? It's just, they just go on and act like nothing happened.
Right.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, that's just how it is. That's human nature.
just like the COVID shot.
No, exactly, without a doubt. I could tell you about a conversation I had earlier today about that with somebody. But
So let me. It's kind of on a different subject than the hurricanes, but I don't know why it made me think about this. Just about when you were talking about declassification or something like that. So I heard this thing come up, which is an interesting theory, and I have to sit back and think about it. Okay, so and if you you read. I don't know how many cats in there believe in God and stuff like that, and you read the Bible or read the rapture and stuff like that, and they said, first there will be people that will be taken off this earth first, then we will have seven years of the devil ruling the earth, then God will come back, judgment will be had, and then devil gets thrown in the lake of fire, all that good stuff, right? So I heard this theory, which was kind of interesting, that the reason why we're now saying aliens do exist and stuff like that, and because that's going to be a way of governments or people in charge to say people were abducted instead of saying that the rapture came and how people were just up and disappeared.
Well,
that was going to be the explanation. What do you think? What do you think of that?
First of all, I've been saying that on the show. I didn't, not specifically on the rapture, but just on that. I've been been reading since '06 on what pages were they? That Charlie Rucci used to give me back in the day.
Can't be saying that name. He's probably still one.
What's it called? Let me think. What was it? Four Winds 10 back in the day, which isn't even a site anymore. And they used to talk about, so did Bill Cooper used to talk about there's going to be an alien disclosure. And I remember reading about this in '06, and I go, no, they're not. They're not going to disclose stuff. Because as early as 2010, 2012. And then you start seeing, all of a sudden, I remember I was at a post in Cave Creek, having some drinks with the people, just that I rode bikes out with. And they had all the military flags. And one of the military flags they had was the space one. Like the Space Army, and it's up there with the Marines and the Navy and the Air Force and and everything else. And they have all the flags up there, and then they have the Space Force. And I was like, I looked at them, damn, is this Starship Troopers? Right. Like they literally had the flag up there. I took a picture of them, like it just accelerated so quickly, and they are talking more about disclosures. They're bringing people along. Obviously, in my opinion, they think that people can't comprehend it, won't comprehend it. They have to bring them along slowly because they'll question everything. But I've also heard that this is also kind of the look over here that they're going to use the Project Bluebeam, and again, this is conspiracy stuff, but whatever. Project Bluebeam to show stuff in the sky, aliens, invasions, different things like that, and kind of make people think, that that's what's happening. So kind of in the same accordance. I've been reading that since '06.
Well, did you hear that there's supposedly some object out in deep space that was like course corrected and now is coming towards Earth?
With others?
Yeah.
With other...
They said it's supposed to be like some type of craft.
Yeah.
They don't really know how to describe it other than some type of craft.
And I heard it had crafts following it too. I mean, the rumor mill is pretty crazy, You definitely gotta. Here's the funny thing.
But then they say fact check, but when they say, I heard the same thing. But then they say it was like 20 years. By the time they finally got here, it'd be like 20 years or some shit.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. I've heard a few different things, and again, I don't know. There's no real such thing, in my opinion, as fact checking. Is everybody that has a fact check site is paid for by an agenda, in my opinion.
Right.
But we are going to get the world to be that way. I'll tell you that.
What's that?
To where you're not going to be able to say. I mean, it was kind of going to be like it was during COVID. You got pulled off of Facebook and Instagram. I just think it's going to be a lot worse. In fact, that they were voting on that stuff, and what the globalists were all in their meeting last week or 2 weeks ago, voting on ushering in that new system or whatever. Almost like a social credit score, but also based on what you post and what and are you spreading false information and all this other stuff? They're going to put that into play. And again, what's false?
But then how does that work when it comes to like freedom of speech and
Again,
what you're able to say, what you're not able to say, something like
Get
that?
rid of that freedom.
Yeah, exactly. Do we really have freedom of speech? I mean, we started every single event strips rights of us. We don't have the freedoms. Like if they think here's the funny part. If you have an opinion, they can hypothetically, if you have an opinion on a conspiracy, let's say, and let's say it's the weather one, they can sit there and basically say you're a terrorist. You're threatening. You're spreading misinformation. You're causing fear and panic or whatever else. And again, because of the Patriot Act, they can lock you up without any due process and throw away the key and keep you in some federal prison with no lawyer, no visitations or anything. I mean, again, people didn't realize all this stuff. And again, most people realize, and here's the funny thing about most people sitting back, it doesn't affect them, so why should they care? And they're like, oh, well, your dumb ass shouldn't be saying this anyway. But they don't realize how far it goes until it affects them. And then when it affects them, then they go, hold on, this isn't fair. But at that point, it's way too late.
I got you. All right. Well, speaking of things that affect us,
Yeah.
I think this next topic affects all of us at this table. So some of our listeners out there, possibly that do a little sports betting. So, we've touched on this topic before, the irregularities that, pro sports have had since, the introduction of, online gambling has come, legal and stuff like that. And how, spots like FanDuel, DraftKings, ESPN, stuff like that are major sponsors of these sporting events and stuff like that. So, we just seen irregularities. I mean, just this past Monday night, we have this cat, wide receiver from the Saints, Chris Olave. This dude's, I think he's averaging maybe 60 yards a game, Nick.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
Now maybe 60, but
before that, at the time, he was averaging that seven catches a game. So, of course, I put a bet on him to have 25 yards. I mean, he could have. The first, to give you an example, the first catch of the game, no, I think the second catch of the game. Second catch of the game was to Chris Olave for 6 yards.
Yeah.
Okay? So
he had 4 catches for 81, 6 for 86, and 8 for 87 leading up to that game.
yes. So averaging 80 yards a game.
And weren't they playing Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which doesn't have a,
Yeah, which doesn't have a great secondary. I mean, they got rid of the best defender last year. They lost him in free agency. That being said, take a wild guess of how many yards this guy had on Monday night. Was a starting quarterback. Now, starting quarterback got hurt at the end, but had him through almost 3.5 quarters. So.
I mean, probably I'm going to say the 6 yards you guys had. I don't know.
A little bit more than that, but I mean, he had 4 more yards after the 6.
2 for 10.
Good job, you almost doubled up.
Yeah. 2 for 10. And it's just there was a whole. It was kind of funny. If you go to Twitter afterward, and a host of people talk about this. I mean, it's just you were talking about how shit's out in the open.
Yeah.
This is just plainly out in the open.
Oh, without
Well, if you look at the NFL this year, like so many upsets, and I think the first 2 or 3 weeks, the team that was the biggest favorite to win lost.
Yes.
And I'm in a pool where you have to pick like a loser every week. And last year it's normally like 1,300 people. Last year it went all the way through the playoffs to the Super Bowl, and then I think there was still like 8 people that had not picked wrong. You can only pick the same team twice. Every week you have to pick it, differently. This year, I was just going to give you the stats, through 5 weeks. So 1,373 people in this pool. there's only 14 people remaining that have picked perfect that haven't had a loss.
Holy shit.
So there's also a secondary. So after you have one loss, you enter the losers bracket, and then after your second loss, you're eliminated. There's only 122 people total, including the 14 people that haven't had a loss yet, that are still left in this pool out of 1,300 after only 5 weeks.
That's insane.
Last year, there was still like 70 or 80 people going into the playoffs. And then, like I said, there was still like 5 or 6 people that made it to the Super Bowl. And then there was like another 15 or something on the loser side that made it to the Super Bowl.
So what you're saying is you don't want these people picking your games.
What I'm saying is that there's been so many like crazy upsets this year and it's like, what happens, I think a lot of people will go, I'm going to take the 2 favorites and I'll parlay them and I'll get close to even odds and I'll just bet heavy on it. And then bam, one of the favorites just goes down or both of them go down and you're out the money.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. The 2 things I see. One, the people that run this, the backers, the sites themselves, they know. First of all, this got pushed through because of fantasy football. Let's be real. FanDuel, well, first of all, they weren't even supposed to be able to do it with fantasy football, and it became, we saw that. They were able to push through a fantasy football, and I'm sure it was actually strategic. Let's push through a fantasy football. Let's show how this is a skill game based on dollar values and stuff, and they paid out in certain states. And then once they were able to get that, set up with all the users, because again, they saw how fantasy football, people were, how people would, treat each weekend, interest in the games and different things like that. And I think with that and then their network and being able to, have enough money backers and lacing enough pockets, they were able to push in for the, the sports betting. With that said, the biggest way most people sports bet is parlays, because everybody wants to get rich quick. It's no different than Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency. It's like HODL. Let me buy these under penny stocks, hold them for 5 years, and then let me cash out. And really, people think at that point they're going to get $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 or more, because of what they heard Bitcoin do.
Yeah.
And so that same mentality, I'm sure, is what people do with these sports betting. Oh, I can make some money real quick. And so what they do is they bet 3, 4, 5, different games, even 10, and try to win, on their $5, they try and win $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. And we all know the odds of that. And now the odds are even more, in my opinion, difficult because of the fact that these games aren't really just fully based on who's going to beat who. That's just my opinion. But it's not just based on the talent that's at the game playing that day and also the history of how they play. Like, this is not, and again, I'm going to go back for references. This is not and I'm sure there was some, rigs in the back then, but not to the point there is now. This was not like the late 80s 49ers or the early 90s Cowboys, where, they were going to go 13 and 3, you know what I mean? And they were going to steamroll mostly everybody, and you could, now it's like, are they covering the spread? And again, like we've talked about this just look at last week. Remember, I go, man, these games don't even make sense. Is Houston really going to beat Buffalo? Yeah. Is Houston really going to beat Buffalo? And then we find out that, and then even that Cincinnati, Bengals game came down to the last second, and where I thought for a second the Bengals were, the Ravens were trying to throw the game. Yeah. That whole clapping, to get to the hike, and then the Bengals just happened to miss the field goal, and then the Ravens were able to win the game. But again, just those odds did not make sense. If I'm parlaying, I'm going to miss. It's basically a guess. It's literally a guess at this point, because you can't tell me you have the skill set to tell me that this is going to be an upset, this is going to be an upset, but this is not going to be. This person is going to play to their fullest. Which leads me to another point. They know that people, they can clean house on that stuff, on people trying to get rich. What they don't like, in my opinion, is the bettor that will take the $20 here, or the cash out early and keep strategically placing bets. Like, I've gotten lucky, and I don't bet that much, but it's funny. I'll try and wait, and again, as soon as I figure this out, there'll be some other pattern. But I'll sit there and try and wait for that score in a high scoring game, and as soon as they hit that last one before the half, then I'll go the other way. And that's worked almost every time I've done it so far. Or right when they're changing the patterns. And it's like again, just finding patterns of how a player's going to play. They up the odds because of it, and almost going against it. But now you also got to see the money on each side. Like, it's funny too when you bet on these games. it's not like you're betting to get your money back a lot of times. If for example, Olive to score, let's say what's 60 yards or whatever, right? I mean, I know you guys bet 25, you bet it down, but it's 60 yards was probably his number, give or take. So one side over is going to be, minus, it's going to be minus 140 or 130. And then the other side's going to be, minus 110. They're going to win on both sides and they're just going to take their money. And so so it's interesting. But with that said, I've noticed something over the last, this year, maybe even last year a little bit. I really think corruption, because I remember reading articles that the guy wrote that book, he was talking to Pat Sajak, remember, on the talk show, and he said that corruption, and this is back in the day, he could verify that games were crooked, and that the corruption usually came from three places. It came from a cornerback, a lineman, usually a center, speaking of bad snaps, and then the quarterback. Now, this was in the late 70s, early 80s. So now look at those position players and what they make, or at least the two of the three. It's a lot tougher, or whatever. I really think corruption comes from two places. Well, it can come from a lot, but I really believe this in my heart. The offensive coordinator, and then possibly the referees. But the offensive coordinator, hear me out. I think we talked about this in the back. I think you guys, I remember I mentioned you guys a while back. You guys, I see that shit. I think the offensive coordinator's job is to create the narrative to take the pressure off the players. So again, if you're a player and you were a player and you're on the field, and if the play call just isn't the play call, guess what? That's not on you.
Yeah.
And who are you to question the team, the system, and above that?
Yeah, exactly.
And whereas the coordinator,
even though it may look crazy, you were like, man, why are we running right into the teeth of the defense right now? And I know he sees it because we can all see it. You know what I'm saying? But he keeps going anywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is you're
it's like, hey, we just got to run out the clock. Oh, we're going to throw on 3 straight plays. Why are you?
But when you said that, I mean, that light bulb went off in my head. I was like, you're fucking right. You don't have to get to a player. You just got to get to a coordinator.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Because he's the one that's fucking, calling these plays. And you were like, man, why the fuck did they throw that bonehead play?
Ask him.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's
or like how much money was on a fucking Olave the other fucking night, and he gets to the coordinator and says, "Don't throw to Olave at all." You know?
And are you really? Here's the funny thing: nobody's saying that's illegal. It's one thing for a player to not give his all in theory, but nobody's even looking at it from an angle of, hey, a phone call comes in to this person that sends a message to the guy calling the plays and goes, hey. Again, it could be a handler for all we know. Hey, call this play, blah, 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 this is this. Sit this out, kneel the ball or get a first down or kick the field goal even though we don't need the points. You know what I mean? Like, there's all this stuff.
Yeah, there was a crazy game. I think it was the Oregon game. They were up and the spread was, I think it was 23.5. And they were up 24 with like a minute left. And the team had like a 4th and 3 at like the 35-yard line. They end up kicking the field goal, which the field goal doesn't help them. They're down 24. And they kick the field goal, they hit it. They end up losing by 21, but they crushed the spread for everybody that had, Oregon winning by 23.5.
Yeah, exactly, because the money was so hard the other way, and weird.
But here's the thing. I think the reason that we've seen the legalization of sports betting in all these other states, one, because Vegas kind of had the chokehold on that, so they could kind of regulate what they wanted, what was best for them,
right?
As far as the maybe fix or the the weird things that happen in sports. But now they've opened it up to all these places being able to do it. So now it can happen anywhere at any time, and I think that's why we're seeing more crazy stuff happening and more weird things because it's not just coming from one centralized location; it's all these different places, and I think. That the legalization of sports betting in other places, I think, is inevitably what's going to be the downfall of Vegas as we know it, which we're already starting to see. Like, when have you ever heard of them tearing down a casino to build a sports arena? Now they've done it twice now, and they're talking about maybe building a basketball stadium where the Rio is. Like, it was tear everything down to build these casinos. Well, now a sports bet, that was one of the big draws to Vegas. And also the Indian gambling has kind of hurt that as well. But I think you're slowly starting to see you're going to have less casinos on the Strip, and you're going to have more things, other reasons to draw people there to try to get them to spend their money. Baseball, football, hockey.
Again, the experience.
Concerts, experience.
They're going to sell the whole
Sphere.
experience.
The Sphere is another big one. Like, in the back in the day, they had that land, they'd build another casino, but they're not getting the same draw to the casinos they used to because I don't have to leave my state to play craps, to play blackjack, to sports bet. I can do that right in my backyard. Why would I go to Vegas for it and spend 10 times the rate of I can get a hotel here or drive to my home at the end of the night and spend nothing, you know?
Yeah, but I could definitely go out, hey, bet on, bet whoever's playing the Raiders or whatever it's called, and then go to the stadium, have an experience, eat a tacos El Gordo, you know what I mean? Different things like that.
Yeah.
And you might be.
But it's less of a draw. Like if you want to, there's people that would just go to Vegas every weekend just to sports bet. Yeah. Now they don't have to do that. So they're, and once they're there sports betting, they're going to then hit the tables and do this other stuff. Well, once you eliminate that draw, we don't have to go to Vegas to sports bet. We don't have to go to Vegas to play craps anymore. You start to see that decline, and they got to find other ways to draw people in to try to get them to spend their money. And it's going to be less about the casinos and more about what's the other stuff you can do. Oh, and while you're here, come in our casino because you're staying at our hotel, and 3 a.m. Yeah, 3 a.m, go down and blow $5,000 because you're drunk.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. We come to the end of the show. Tatiana, give me a quick thought of the day. Quick.
Wow. I actually got caught off guard on this one. My thought of the day is actually just going to be. I heard a clip from a guy calling in to the what's it called, the Breakfast Club, speaking to what's his name, Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy, and man, that just touched my soul today. Like, I mean, the guy was he was adamant, like he was screaming, but because he was so he was so passionate about what's going on. He was just frustrated. He's like, man, this is crazy. Y'all are sitting here and you're talking about, the politicians, and, I don't care if you're left or right. And each person's arguing, and I see it in the comments myself, they're arguing left and right on what they're not doing and who's doing what. And he goes, man, these people got you fooled. He goes, at the end of the day, you're talking like we're animals. He goes, we're people out here. They're not helping us. They're not in the trenches, and they're not even trying to figure this out. They're sending money everywhere else. They're sending it to, what's it called? They're sending it overseas. They're giving immigrants $10,000, all this other stuff. But now that the shit's hit the fan, and our own citizens are in the most need, who's coming to get their backs? And then again, this is what Tampa. He was in Tampa. People are gonna die. People are gonna die. And we're sitting here talking politics left and right when he said, man, basically, F them, they're not doing shit for us. And he goes, and you guys are just talking like it's just some kind of a situation to hang your politic hat on when people are dying, people are hurting, and people are afraid. I mean, he said straight up, I'm afraid for my life and life of others. And then, then he went on to say that these different cities need to head up north, and stuff. And it was just heart-wrenching because you could feel every ounce of, just what, again, I can't say what he was going through, but just the severity of it. Man, my prayers to that man especially, and again, everybody else out there. Just, man, we got to think about that. And, I'll say for myself, when I talk conspiracy stuff, to everybody that talks political, let's put the people first. Let's figure out how we can do solutions. Let's figure out how we can get help into the hands of the right people that won't manipulate it. And I know that's harder said than done, but let's keep that energy positive and fight for our brothers and sisters in the trenches.
So I'm going to speak on that a little bit too. I saw someone was talking and they were asking the question. They said it was actually to the press secretary, I think, in the White House. They asked the question, how come when Congress is not in session, you can approve a package of $7 billion to Ukraine, but you're saying that you can't approve any money to the people in the Carolinas that just got drilled by a hurricane until Congress is back because they have to approve it. And it's like, how can you help other countries, other side of the world, but you can't help your own people? You can't just act and give them money and give them the resources they need. And it's something to think about. Why is it that way? Why can we send billions of aid all these other places that, for the most part, most Americans will never even see or sniff or even understand what's going on over there? But we send billions and billions of dollars, but we can't even help.
Taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, taxpayer dollars, but we can't even help the people that are affected by Katrina, by the last hurricane, the one that's happening in Florida. You can't even, like in Florida, you can't even get homeowners insurance really anymore because all their hurricanes, all the insurance companies have pulled out. They don't want to pay anymore. And then the government tried to do their own kind of backed insurance thing, but that's not working out. It's like you're going to lose your house and you don't even have any recoup. And if you can't afford to rebuild it, you're just SOL.
So like we said, do you really own your house in many different ways?
No, true.
One we know, and again, well, I'll leave that at that for the show. You know?
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, real quick, I just want to say happy birthday to my baby girl.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, baby Jay.
Baby Jay, yes. She's turning 27. Shit, man. Time's going by so quick. And I'm blessed. So I'm definitely blessed to have her and all my kids in my life. So I just want to say thank you. We'll see you guys next week.